Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jania and today's video will be all about flying with a baby. In my case, I flew with my baby when he was 4 months and we came back from our trip while he was 5 months. So obviously flying with a baby under 2. My trip was from Illinois to California and that was a 4-hour flight. So it wasn't a lot, but there obviously was a couple things that I learned and a couple of mistakes that I did that made it a little more stressful. So I made a whole list of things that I feel like can definitely help other women with their flying with their babies, because I know being a mom, everything just gets so anxious and anxiety can obviously take a toll on us and it can be very hard. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the list. So the first thing that I have is leaving to the airport about 2 to 3 hours earlier, just because your baby might have a fit. You just don't know how your baby's gonna react. Also, airports change all the time. In my case, I went to O'Hare, and O'Hare, they were like constructing and it was just completely different. I literally had to walk like so far from TSA to my terminal, so it was very stressful. So I recommend going 2 to 3 hours earlier to just be stress-free and doing things with time and just being whole stress-free, because flying with a baby can just be stressful enough. So just check that on your list, going to the airport 2 to 3 hours earlier. Another thing that I have on my list is carrying your baby on a baby carrier, just because you want to have your hands free so you can grab anything that you need from your baby bag, any documents, money, credit cards, anything. You want to have your hands free. Another thing I have is wearing shoes that are not tied. They don't have any ties. Shoes that you can slip on and off, like slides or slippers. Shoes without laces, perfect. Just because once you're going TSA, I made the mistake first time around taking tennis shoes, and like I literally had to put my baby in a stroller. Keep in mind, I didn't have my carrier the first time around. I went to my trip to California, so I literally had to put my baby in a stroller and literally tie them. And you know, being in the TSA is like already stressful enough. The vibes and the energy there is just so chaotic, so it was just a lot. You know, you just don't want to worry about tying your shoes on and off. Just take some slides, slip them on and off. You don't have to do much, you know, because remember, you're gonna have to put your stuff in the tray so they can scan in the x-rays or whatever they are, you know. Another thing is, if you're bottle feeding, just make sure you take the amount of liquids through your baby bag, because they're gonna make you throw some things away. Any liquids that are extra, they're gonna make them throw them away, or it's just gonna be an extra hassle. They're gonna put you aside and it's gonna take more time and you're gonna get more anxious. So I really recommend looking up the amount of liquid that you can take on carry-on. So just be aware of that, because you really don't want them to put you aside and just being a whole situation, you know. That's why it's really important to go earlier, just in case things like that do happen. So be aware of what you're carrying on your carry-on so they really won't put you aside. Another thing is strollers. So yes, you do not have to pay to take in your strollers. So the situation with strollers and car seats is you can only take one, a stroller or a car seat. And I know there is some strollers that are both, so that's good. So if you have one, literally, if you want to go ahead and take it, go ahead and take it. So the whole situation with a stroller is you can take it all the way to TSA to your terminal. And once you get to your terminal, you don't just leave it, you know, at the terminal. You have to go all the way into the airplane and put it aside, and you have to disassemble it yourself and put it on the side. So that's like another reason why I really recommend a baby carrier for you to carry your baby, so your hands are free, you know. Practice, literally go in the mirror and practice on doing your stroller, so you can do it quick, know what you're doing, your hands are free, and it's easy. Everything just flows easier and it's, you know, you got it under control. Another thing is carrying a paper that it has the dad's signature that says that he's okay to fly with you. I just have this just in case they ask for it. They never asked me for it when I went to my trip, and when I came back home, I always have it just in case. I don't want to, you just want to, you know, be ready literally for anything. So I recommend having a note where the father of the child states that he is okay with you flying with the baby. So just have it, you know, you might not need it, but it's always good to have it on hand just in case you do need it, okay? I also recommend having your baby bag very organized, okay? Very organized. Everything is just easy to grab and flow, because once you're on the airplane, you're gonna have your baby bag on your lap or on the floor, and you really wanna, you know, not go ahead and like get everything out of there. You wanna know where everything's at, where it's easy to grab and easy to put back in. You know, it's gonna be very small, and you just don't wanna like be hassling with everything that you have. Another thing is baby headphones. I bought these for my baby, and I feel like it really helped a lot. Another thing that can be very scary as a mom is your baby's ears popping. You don't know if they're gonna pop. You don't know how they're gonna react on the plane once it's like going up, you know? So go ahead and take a pacifier so they can be like sucking on something, so their ears they have like they're doing something and not just like there where they can be easily popped. I feel like they're a really good investment just because you can't only use them in the airplane. If you go to events, a concert, anywhere, literally a fireworks show, you can put it on your baby so it won't hurt their ears, nothing bad happens to them, so they can be safe and enjoy the time with you as well. You know, everything will be too chaotic for their ears. A good investment just in case you go to an event and it's too loud. You can definitely put them on your baby and it won't be too loud for his little ears. So I really recommend them, not just for the airplane, but for literally anything. Another thing that I have is the clothes. You really have to think about the clothes that you're gonna take, because I personally get very hot, especially when I have my baby in the carrier. So I literally wore something light. And while I breastfeed, I also took like a small thin blanket to breastfeed over, just because I get very hot, and especially like I said, airplane seats are very, you know, small, so you don't want to take a whole big blanket with you and you're gonna get overheated. Another thing to think about is the baby's schedule. Do you want to be flying at night, or do you want to be flying in the afternoon or in the morning? You know, I flew at night, so my baby was always like very tired, so he was very like calm mode, and he slept most of the trip, so that was good. And that is something you really need to think about. Go ahead and plan your flight around your baby's schedule. That's another thing that's very important to think about. Another thing is baby toys, right? Obviously, do not take your baby's favorite toys, or if you do, go ahead and buy a second one, because you might lose it. Take another Ziploc for clean toys and dirty toys, just because one of them is gonna fall on the floor on the airplane, and you know, the plane is a very dirty place, so you want to have an extra bag to put dirty toys in, so it won't contaminate the clean toys or just contaminate your whole bag, because as we know, airplanes are very dirty. Another thing to think about when flying alone with your baby is seating. Do you want to go ahead and sit near the window? Do you want to sit in the middle? Don't recommend that one, but do you want to sit on the side, on the aisle, because you need to go to the bathroom often? Like, that's something to think about. Another thing I recommend is not taking diapers, only packing like 4 or 5 for the trip. I don't recommend buying a whole box of diapers, because that's going to be too much, obviously too much to take. And once you go to your destination, go ahead and buy your diapers, so you don't have to be carrying as much. You can just buy a small pack, a big pack, whatever you need, and do the same thing. Only carry 5 or 4, or as much as you need for your way back. Another thing I recommend is do not overpack baby clothes. Especially if you're gonna go to a place where they have a washer and a dryer, you can go ahead and, you know, keep washing it, and just prevent you from carrying just so much baby clothes, because I took so much baby clothes and he did not even end up using it all. and it was just a lot. I carried a lot of clothes and I did not even use it as much, so I recommend not taking too much clothes, too many things, just because you're not going to really need it and you're gonna suffer a lot, you know, because you're going to be carrying it. So be mindful of what you take. Another tip for the moms is everything is going to be okay. Your flight is going to be, your trip's going to go amazing. Don't stress about it. Everything's going to go well. And I really hope these tips and tricks make you feel better about flying with your baby. If I talk with anxiety about this video, it's because I really had a stressful situation just because mine was all over the place. I didn't sleep. I just had a lot of anxiety, and I wish I could tell myself that it's going to be okay flying alone, you know? Flying alone with your baby is not scary at all. Just know what you're doing, have everything prepared, go to the airport early, be organized, and yeah, go by your baby's schedule. If he sleeps at night, maybe that's a good idea to fly with him at night, just so he won't be awake and he'll be more tired and we will definitely fall asleep. And another thing is, if your baby cries on the airplane, it's okay. Like, don't feel bad. My baby cried on the plane, not a lot, just like in the beginning and like just a little fussiness, but it's okay. No one is judging you. People are very helpful when it comes to babies. The flight attendants are very considerate about mothers and babies. Another thing is, you are priority, so you will go in the airplane first than anybody else. If all babies cry in the airplane, everyone's going to be considerate. No one's going to be rude, and if they are, go ahead and tell a flight attendant that they're being rude, because that is unacceptable. Thank you guys so much for watching my tips for flying with the baby alone. If you liked the video, go ahead and please give it a like, and please go ahead and subscribe. Thanks, bye.